that, I would recommend that you just go ahead and read through them just to see what options you have. You don't need to memorize them as you always have them in the help bar, but just have a look at it and that will be sufficient. It's a good thing to know how to use man pages and just to know that they are there so that you can refer to another source if the help menu doesn't actually suffice. Let's just go ahead and clear the screen. The next command which I wanted to deal with you is touch. Touch is used for creating files. And in combination with this, I will also teach you how you can actually search through your system for a certain file. Now, usually there are two methods. One is preferred over the other. For example, you have locate, and so very simple, plain English language, and you have find. Now, locate is a lot faster than find, but it does require the database to be updated. And don't get intimidated right away. There is not the process of updating the database is basically one word command, that's it. Anyway, before we get into that, let's just go ahead and see how touch works. So touch, and let's say that I want to create file 1. File 1. So this is just a reference name that I'm creating. You can basically smash your keyboard here and name your file. There are some limitations as to how you can name your file, but generally you can pretty much name it to anything within pretty much anything that suits you. So let's let's use file 1. Let's do it like this, file 01. And if I press enter and then if I list it, you can see that the file 101 is there. But look, there is a shortcut to the ls. If you don't want to do this ls space -l for the long listing, which is generally more preferable than just the ls, you can simply use the ll command. And if you use the ll command, by default, you will be given a long listing for that directory. LL works pretty much the same as LS, so you just type in LL. You can also specify a path, so let's say the root, simple as that, and you can also say LL-R-root boot. You see it gives a recursiveness here, so it works in the same way, except you just tab L twice and press enter and get a long listing. It saves you a ton load of time, trust me on that one. Anyway, we have created file 1, but we can also create multiple files like this, as it is a rather fast way of doing that. So we just do touch, and you can also specify a directory where you want the files to be created. For example, I can go ahead and type in downloads, and then I can say, I don't know, file 02. Downloads, sorry, file 03, and then I can change the directory path. I can say, okay, now I want you to go to documents, and I'm gonna say file, oops, I messed it up with a 03. I'm gonna fix it shortly. I can say here file 04. So it gives you the ability to create files pretty much anywhere on your system where you have a permission via the single command line. Very useful. So we press enter, and there we go. It has indeed created them. You can confirm it by doing the listings. So downloads. There you go. So file 02 and 03. And you can see there's another file. It says find me. I have used it to conduct some tests previously. If I go ahead and type in documents, here you go. You see that the file 04 is indeed there. Just go ahead and clear the screen and deal with the subject of two more commands, which is find and locate. We're going to deal with find first. You will use find only if you know where something is in specific. You definitely don't want to use find to search through your entire system, because that's going to take a while. Not a pretty sight, I can tell you that. Not a pretty wait. But here you go. You can type in find. That's why we use locate, that uses a database that's much faster, that can search through the entire system at practically no time. practically no time. So just you type in find, and then you're going to specify the directory in which you want it to search. You don't need to specify the directory. You can just go ahead and type in your search pattern here with an argument, but rather instead I want to specify a directory because it would be highly inefficient to actually just say go ahead and search through the whole system. Although sometimes you need to do that, and that's why locate is so nice. I personally always use locate instead of find, but I just figured I would show it to you anyway. So let's say that I want to go into my home directory, and there I will conduct a search. So if I type in name, then space, quotation marks, I will say file 01, search. Excellent, so it has found it relatively fast. It says home random guy file 01. It has been found indeed. But what if I did this? What if I change this letter to a lowercase letter? Guess what? Nothing is found. It does not exist. Linux is case sensitive. I believe that I've mentioned this previously. If not, oh well. And two files having the same name, the only difference being lowercase letters and uppercase letters, are two completely different names for the Linux system. So it is case sensitive to the point of extreme, and you should all be very much aware of it. If you want to ignore the case, the usual argument for the commands which deal with text formatting is -i. So you just add -i to the name, and you see it has indeed found it. Usually -i is to ignore something, generally in all commands. Anyway, I could have just said if I don't specify a folder path, it's gonna, let's see, where am I at the moment? So pwd. Okay, so I'm in home and random guy, and if I am in the current working directory where the file is located, and if I do this, it's gonna find it. But suppose I am not. Suppose I do go and change it to root. Oops, what has happened here? Well, first of all, we have been issued permission denied for a ton load of folders. If I do ll, we are unable to access most of these folders as our current users, so the find will not even be able to look for them there. That's the first problem. The second problem is that even though it can access the home directory, it hasn't actually found it because it is only looking here. There you go. So all of these things are permission denied, you are unable to access it. Be sure that you execute a find command from a place where you have access to other folders and their subfolders. Please be aware of that, otherwise you will not be able to actually execute find at all. You will just get the same error that I have gotten. So here you go. I typed in find, and it says iname, and it says file 01. Excellent. So it has immediately found it here in the home, even though I'm in my root directory, no problems. So it does jump in to the folders recursively, which is very nice. But look here, where it tries to look for the file, it says permission denied, permission denied, permission denied. You cannot access these files or folders, and provided that your file is in one of those places, it will not be able to find it at all. That can be extremely problematic. That's why we need root permissions, sudo and su. Later on we will deal with that, but for the time being I just want to show you this. Anyway, if I go ahead and clear the screen, there is another command which we can use, which is very nice. I personally prefer to use it. It's called locate. And if I just type in locate, so file 01. Oh, what is this? It hasn't found anything. What could be the problem? Well, as I said, locate uses a database, and that database is updated on daily basis, which is resource inexpensive but also inefficient. However, the beloved Linux creators and the locate creators, developers, have left us with a very nice option here. It's called, you just type in update, update.